Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday, August 5th meeting of the Westwood School Building Committee. I am going to start with a roll call attendance. Ken Aries.
Here.
Brian Bear. Oh, Brian, where
Here.
are you? Oh, there you are. Okay. Josh Baumer.
Here.
Allison's on vacation. Chris Coleman.
Here.
John Cummings.
Here.
I believe Charlie is on vacation. Pam Dukeman.
Here.
Mary Kate Ferreira. I don't see her. Okay. Jen Flanders.
Here.
Abby Hanscom.
Here.
Lema Jean-Baptiste.
Here.
I think Josepha is not joining. Matt's on vacation. Carol.
Here.
Lewis. Michelle Miller. I didn't see her come in. Tony Mullen.
Here.
Emily Parks.
Here.
Amanda Phillips.
Here.
And I don't see Mike Walsh. Okay, well, we have a quorum, so we're going to go ahead. I'd like to recognize the live stream available online at www.westwood.k12.ma.us/live to provide real-time public access to the activities of the School Building Committee in accordance with an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. This meeting is also being recorded for later broadcast on Westwood Media Center's platforms. So thank you, Paul, for joining us and for everything Westwood Media Center does to assist our community. Membership update. I am very pleased to announce that last week, or actually Monday, seems like last week, the school committee has appointed Josh Baumer and Matt Kuklintz to the SBC. We're very excited to have them both. As you all know, Josh Baumer is the principal of the Deerfield School, which will be consolidated with Hanlon if this project goes forward. And Matt Kuklintz is currently the vice principal at the middle school, or the assistant principal at the middle school, but will be starting in the fall, the interim principal at the Hanlon School. So we have appointed both of them to this committee. We think their input is valuable, and we are thrilled to welcome you. So thank you, Josh, for joining us. I know Matt's on vacation, but we'll get him next time.
Yeah, I'm just going to jump in to clarify that Matt actually became the Hanlon principal as of August 1st. So he is the principal.
Oh, okay. So for 5 days. All right. Thanks, Emily. Okay. I also wanted to give a brief update on the cost estimate that we sent out for. As you recall, we decided to do a cost estimate when we were 50% through design development because we were concerned about rising costs in the construction area, which I'm sure everyone is hearing about. So that cost estimate came back. Doran Whittier and Compass went through it very painstakingly, and I am pleased to announce that we are still on budget. We thought we would have to do some value engineering. I know it's huge, right, John? We thought we'd have to do some value engineering, and we had meetings all set up, and we were going to come to today with recommendations for what we needed to do, and we didn't have to do any of that. So we are very excited. That's great news for the project. Hopefully, when we do the 100% DD estimate, we'll have the same news. There's a chance that we might still have to do some VE based on that, but we're crossing our fingers that it will be minor, if any. And we are very thankful to Compass and Doran Whittier for keeping us on budget. So that is great news for the project. Very happy about that. Are there any questions on the cost estimate update? Like how in the world did that happen?
Yeah, I guess that's my question. Was that just because some of this is hype and lumber's coming back down, or was it we were maybe always a little more conservative going in? What was, I mean, at a high level?
Yeah, Rob, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we found that there were some specific areas where costs did go up. Steel, for example, went up like 20%, which was a pretty significant increase. We also found some anomalies, when the cost estimator was putting numbers together, they were hearing one thing from one company or one firm and another number from another. So when we went through it with them and clarified with our engineers, we were able to clarify a lot of that. And so that cleared up some numbers, some higher numbers that they were carrying. And then we just made, some tweaks to our, different design decisions, streamlined a few things, and worked closely with our cost estimator to bring it back in line. So it all worked out really well.
Great.
Yeah, so great news. Any other questions about the updates? Nope. All right, we're going to move into the discussion items, and we are going to review floor plans and the site plans, talk a little bit about the interior. The aesthetics design group did meet, working group did meet, and gave a little bit of direction to the, to the interior team. So we'll get an update on that. And we'll also get an update on the exterior site plan. So I'm going to turn it over to Rob.
Excuse me. Good morning, everyone. As Maya mentioned, we'll just give you a quick update on where we're at on the work plan. View some floor plan updates. We'll talk briefly about this floor openings discussion that we've been having on the extended learning areas with the educators. Update on the aesthetic design group meeting, and just review a few minor site plan updates. So as far as our work plan goes, over the last month, we've met with DPW, police, fire, and building inspector. Aesthetic subcommittee met. We had some great meetings there where we updated the various officials and got some great information and feedback that informed that is informing our current design progress.
Rob, I just want to clarify, the aesthetics group is not a subcommittee, it's a working group.
Okay,
I just want to clarify that.
And then this month, we are planning to submit a package to the Land Use Committee later this month for a meeting in September, where we will be presenting our project to them. And we'll be submitting the 100% design development set to cost estimators. And then in September, at the September School Building Committee meeting, that will be the time to authorize the design development submission to the MSBA. We'll be forwarding the entire package to the MSBA later in September. So, the overall floor plan remains as we've been designing it. Very few changes, but I'll go over a few of the things that we've been working on. Second floor plan, again, the same as we've been designing. So one of the areas we wanted to focus on is the extended learning areas. These are spaces that are directly outside of each of the classrooms and each of the classroom wings. And there's been some discussion about, how do we treat this floor opening? So we have this floor opening connection that allows for this sense of transparency and connection with other people and other students in the building. And after some discussion with the educators, the decision was made to make these a full height glass, so that it still allows this transparent feeling and connection with other floors and other grade levels, while also addressing sound concerns and safety. And so this is an image of another elementary school done by HMFH Architects. It's a good example of the similarities between what's happening there as to what we are envisioning for our project. And so where these floor openings happen are, again, within the extended learning areas. So there's one in the first grade. This is all in the second floor level. At the first grade, at the fourth grade, and the fifth grade. And at each of these locations, we have skylights directly above these floor openings. So it's also, letting in natural light and a feeling of natural daylight into the center core of the building. And then other locations where we have, a double height space, we're planning to use a perforated metal guardrail. So this is at this gallery space here with the stairs that go down. There's this bridge or trunk location that has a two-story element where we're planning to have these sort of exhibitions of learning that could have, a two-story element of artwork or student display that's happening. And then at the media center, where we have this connection between the upper level of the media center and the lower level. So the other thing that we've been working on is taking a closer
Hang on,
look.
Rob, can I
Yes.
just interrupt you? I just wanted to go back to the floor openings and see if anybody had any questions about that. I know that we had talked about those before. Originally, I think they were just going to be guardrails or something around them. And there were, as you mentioned, concerns about safety, concerns about sound. But at the same time, the educators and the designers felt it was important to keep that connection between the two floors. And also a huge benefit is the natural light getting to the first floor. And so this sort of full glass was the solution to address the concern. So I just wanted to give people a chance to comment on that or what their thoughts, if anybody had any.
I have one question, Mayor. At the top of the glass wall, Rob, where it meets the ceiling on the second floor, is
Yes.
that like sealed or like I'd say airtight, but not, watertight, airtight? But is there a gap or anything like that?
This is tied up against the ceiling here. It will be.
Which is a drop ceiling,
Yes.
but that's the skylight, right? So you're actually mimicking the skylight straight down?
Yeah, yes. Skylight, yes. Mhm.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, May, I'm just going to say we had a lot of discussion about this. I feel good about this decision. Abby and I had an opportunity to visit another school to kind of think about the guardrail versus the glass. And I spoke to administrators in 4 different schools that have kind of similar features where they have an opening of some sort. And I think this will do what we want it to do and also take care of some of the concerns we had.
And I think at this point, we're going to make sure that this glass is in budget. We think it is, but Dorn, Whittier, and Compass will work hard. We're not anticipating additional costs for this glass. So somehow we'll make that work. All right. Any other questions or comments on these floor openings?
No, nice job on doing it though.
All right. Okay, Rob, sorry, you can continue.
Oh, that's good. Thanks. So some of the other things that we've been doing to the extended learning areas, we were taking a closer look at, the location of the cubbies. In the previous iteration, we had some cubbies over here and a few cubbies here and some within this sort of center extended learning area space. And so when we took a little closer look at it at the same time when we were looking at the floor openings, we decided that it made sense to move this center sort of island with the sinks in it that's intended to be associated with the sort of science exploration area or zone of the extended learning space. So we shifted that over here where we have this teaching wall and then looked at moving the cubbies outbound of the wall. So these walls got simplified, the cubbies got pushed out, and then that allowed us to have more of them right next to each other. So now that they're consolidated and grouped directly outside of the classroom spaces, the upper grades, so 4th and 5th, along with this move, the 4th and 5th grade would have cubbies that would be stacked on top of each other. So there would be a 2.5-foot cubby with another 2.5-foot cubby for the older kids. The lower grades will still have the single level cubbies. And right now we're looking at, streamlining the location of those that might be, they might be located right up against this glass. Now that this is all full height glass, we might be able to put a couple of those located here for the lower grades, so that the younger kids just have the single height cubbies. And so we're continuing to work through that, but we think this layout works a lot better for consolidating the cubbies located directly outside of each of the classrooms.
Hey, Rob, in
Yes.
the previous slide, the cubbies, I think, were shown around these glass enclosures at the floor openings. Is that not the case, or is this plan?
Right. So this is where we're headed. So for the upper levels where these are occurring, like for the 4th and 5th grade, these cubbies won't be located around the glass. We're trying to keep all of that open.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that rendering before had some cubbies on the corners. That's not the case anymore, right?
Right. We may end up having to do this at the 1st grade level, but that would be the only one. Or we're also looking at creating another alternative is to create a separate island where maybe this is used as a solid surface tabletop, with the cubbies on each underneath it, so that it can be used for kids to gather and meet. And so we're looking at that option. Ideally, it's nice to just have this sort of glass alone by itself without having anything up against it. Ideally, that's what we're striving for. But this was an
Okay.
option.
Yeah, I agree with that direction, and I like where you're heading with it. Seems good.
Work through that. Thank you. So the next number of slides were slides that were presented to the aesthetic working group. And so we'll just kind of summarize some of those. So, June, we went over the aesthetic design of a number of different spaces: the lobby, living room, the admin, gallery, extended learning. At the July meeting, we covered the cafeteria and the media center in August. So we're currently preparing actual material sample boards that we're planning to bring down to the school and have people, stand next to in real life and be able to look at the colors and comment on them, the materials. So that's our next step. So with the aesthetics working group, we looked at the cafeteria space and kind of gave a little sketch, a couple sketches for them to consider and view as we progress through design. So the design intent here is to create, a very simple design. Meanwhile, having it be a little bit more playful with flooring, introducing some curves. The building is very rectilinear, so we're trying to introduce some curved shapes along the way to kind of soften things up. Bring some, pendant lights in to bring down the scale and have a little bit warmer feeling. When we are looking at colors, very neutral type of palette and simple design. Another view of the cafeteria space. So this is looking back at the platform area. Again, trying to keep things kind of streamlined and simple in form. A variety of seating choices for students. These are some skylights that are planned in the center of the cafeteria, bringing some natural light into the deeper part of the space. These will be able to be closed off like during a performance, so that it's darker in the space if a performance is happening. And then this is an example of what the linoleum flooring kind of looks like in a real example. Here's another one here of this linoleum flooring in action. It's very easy to clean, easy to maintain. It doesn't require waxing, and it's all natural materials that it's made from. Looking at the media center, so this is a two-story experience as we've been designing all along. This upper level here is designed to be geared more towards the upper grade students. So it's a space for them to go, for teachers to bring multimedia type space over here. Can be configured in a number of different ways. This is just one layout of furniture as an idea, but can be configured in a number of different ways. And then the connection to the lower level down below. This is a view looking back at that. And so we did meet with librarians, and there was a desire to have this circulation desk in the center of the space as a welcoming component, but also be able to see the different zones within the library. There's planning to be some soft seating areas, like this little reading nook in the back here, as well as hard table or tabletop areas that are a little bit more maker-based, and portable storage units that will be flexible for a variety of different activities for students. And then stacks will be divided up into different zones according to how the librarians want to arrange it, but we're anticipating older student, some older student books on the upper level, and mostly younger students on the lower level. But again, trying to introduce some elements of wood and bringing this sort of warm feeling to the space. And some ideas on carpeting, these we'll be looking at a number of different carpet colors and textures, but this is an idea of where we're headed. Initial thoughts. Along the exterior.
Hang on, sorry, Rob, I'm going to interrupt you again. Does
Yeah.
anyone have any thoughts on the interiors? Any comments? Nope. All right, go ahead, Rob.
Just
Oh,
one
go.
thing, Maya. I think we covered this before, but just for this meeting, Rob, when we get to the point of furniture selection, that will be done with either the educational team or this group for the actual furniture selections. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And that'll happen, once we get into construction. We'll start that process, and it's while we've been talking about furniture and all of the different user groups that we've had with the faculty and educators, we'll dive into the actual, products themselves and talk through them in more detail once we get into that stage.
Great. So I'm assuming that everyone's good with the direction the interior is going in. Okay. All right, go ahead, Rob.
Along the exterior, so we've been tweaking a few things here and there. I'll flip back and forth a little bit from this image. It'll kind of there'll be a few different things that you might see change as I flip through the two of them. One, keep an eye on this here. This is a subtle change that we're making to the gym. And then this area here, we drop down the height of this admin area. One, because it didn't need to be that high, and two, as a way to save on steel in terms of structural framing and construction of the materials. So different things that we're doing kind of behind the scenes to stay within budget. So you can see there some of the how that changed. So from the height here dropping down, so it didn't change the height of the ceiling inside. It just changed the roof level down. And then here at the gym, when we were looking at providing this additional kind of termination element that extended out along the classroom wing, we also wanted to integrate the gym a little bit more into the design of the rest of the building. So it was a lot similar and more cohesive feel between the classroom wing and the gym. And so we felt these modifications really worked well to bring all the elements of the building design together. And then, these are the materials that we're planning. We've presented these before. We'll be creating sample boards of the actual materials that we'll be able to, like I said, have available to you at the school to come by and comment on. One thing to note, is that this is a public bid process, and there are multiple manufacturers that we are listing for the different materials. And so, there's a chance that other materials come with other design or other colors or textures. And so while this is our, basis of design, there is a potential that later on down the line, we might come back to you and say, okay, this other manufacturer, won the bid, and this is, their color range. And so we may end up coming back to this and saying, okay, now with our new color palette, here is some slight variations. The intention is that we are, we want to stay with the overall design intent, but there may be some subtle changes that we will need to talk through after construction and the bids awarded. But we'll get into that later. But this, for now, this is our design intent, and like I said, we'll have some materials boards probably in towards the end of August. We'll make those available, and we'll let Naya know, and she can let everyone know.
Rob, is the terracotta cladding something that could be a proprietary spec or not? Because that one seems like the one that could be substituted in a way that we wouldn't want.
It is a product that could be considered proprietary if that's desired. Right now, we've got two other manufacturers that we are also looking at and working with to see how close they can get to the product that we are specifying. But you're correct. If that's something that the school building committee is interested in going proprietary with, that'll have to be a decision that you guys make.
So, Brian, I also want to add in this that I've been pushing Dawn Whittier to have as few proprietary products as possible, because when you have more competition, you can get better pricing. And so this is sort of the push and pull. And so we will closely monitor that in the process.
Sure. I suppose if, Rob, if there are several manufacturers that during the design process you find would be acceptable, that would be better, I suppose.
Brian, this is Michelle. That's exactly what we should be doing. Chin nailed it, that we really need to avoid as much proprietary products as we can possibly avoid. And the other thing is people kind of get in this mode of it's a public bid process. We have to take what we take. We actually don't have to do that. The homework that we do now to kind of see what's available in terms of different products to get to the color that we want, because I do see that'll really change the look of things if we change the color much. But if we get something in and it's a very different color than we want, we can pass on that. We do not have to accept a color that doesn't meet our standards. So our homework done now is really going to help that process be smoother when we get bids in.
Typically, what Dawn Whittier will be doing is that they will find multiple manufacturers have similar range so that we can work with any one of them. At least on the brick side, that's very easy to do, and the metal is no issue. But the terracotta is a little bit, but that's why we have Dawn Whittier on the team.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. That sounds like a good plan. I just mentioned the terracotta cladding because that's, I think, something that there's been the most discussion about and the most reaction to, so that the design team's happy with the choices during the design process.
Yeah, definitely. And when things come in, we'll have to look at, are you happy with it? Because if what comes in is very different than what we're looking at, it'll really change the feel of the building, and that's not something anybody wants. But good question.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Rob, go ahead.
I was just going to summarize. I think the next slide is just summarizing some of the comments that we had from the aesthetics group. So, generally speaking, the response was, very well received, going in the right direction. There's some discussion on light fixtures. We're going to continue to look at those. There was some concern with the use of oak. We are using a white oak with a clear finish. It's not your 80s, and 90s oak. And so we'll put in some samples together for people to review.
Rob, you're fading out.
The oak is it's a very cost-effective material to use, so anyway, and then the other response item was there was some concern with the loose chairs in the cafeteria, and we'll continue to look at those more closely later on when we get to that.
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
Go ahead. Yep.
Okay. I have to jump off of this meeting, but I just want to again emphasize that I think we have to make design choices that are as timeless as we possibly can make them. This is a public building. It's a school building. We all know that going forward, if this building is going to last for 50 years, changing things like lighting and carpeting won't be at the top of the priority list going forward, probably. So when you make choices like, I don't know, pendant lights, which are very current and lovely, they could possibly date the building going forward. So we have to be careful about that kind of stuff. Choices for carpeting also should be as timeless as you can make them. Just wanted to make that comment.
Yeah, no, thank you, Josepha. It's a point well taken.
Are there
And
any
then
other
just to clarify, the concern with the loose chairs in the cafeteria was for cleaning purposes. At the end of the day, the chairs all have to go on top of the tables. And if they were all loose, I think that's a significant amount of work for the custodial staff to have to put every single chair up on the table. So that was, I just wanted to clarify what that concern was. Are there any other comments on the aesthetics or even the exterior of the building, the changes?
When
have
will
one
the
question.
samples be available? Oh, go ahead, Tom.
Okay, Tony.
I said, when will the samples be available? I know, because I know there's a subcommittee, but I'm sure there's other people that want to look at those as well.
Yeah, I think Giovanna is planning to drop them off to the district office either next week or the week after. So as soon as they are available, is that right, Rob?
I think she's planning to drop off the Cubby example next week.
Oh,
But the sample materials, I think will be a couple weeks out.
okay. Well, as soon as we have them, we'll send an email to the committee so that it's not just going to be the working group that goes, everybody can go see them. So as soon as they're in the office, we'll let you know. And then John, you had something?
On the front picture, Rob, with the cars and the kids walking into the front of the building, I like the way you were tying in the gym building to the school buildings. I just wondering, so we have the roof of the walkway.
Yes.
Is there a tie-in between the stone, the terracotta and the stone, like there is on the classroom building? Right in the middle?
Here?
Yeah.
Yes, the same detail will apply on the gym as it does to the classroom building.
Awesome. I think that makes a big difference. Thank you.
Great.
All right, anything else?
I have a quick question. The cafeteria, it looked like there were some like pink partitions on the floor. What's the purpose of those?
Well,
Or
first
was
they
I-
won't be pink. Just ignore the pink. I think those were actually the backs of alternate seating, booth seating.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right.
So, and that goes, again, this is all the furniture choices that we may have booths, we may not. I think the educators, talked about liking the idea of a variety of seating. From a practical perspective, we just need to make sure it works with the management and how a cafeteria is run. But for now, those pink things are booths.
Super,
Yeah,
thank you.
The intent of the sketch was just really to relay the design intent, which was, let's show a variety of different seating choices. How that all gets selected will be done later.
All right, anything else? Okay.
On to the site.
Yep.
So met with the site design and site and outdoor design subcommittee, and we had some great feedback from them. I'll kind of walk through some of the revisions that we made. The sheet layouts here, these are how the overall site is laid out on the drawings, because it is kind of a big site, and like to have each of the different pieces blown up. So the first piece is the playground. One of the pieces of feedback that we received was how close this walking trail is to this accessible route that we've created to get up to the K1 playground. And so what we've done since then is pushed the walking trail further out. So there's about a 50-foot distance now between that. And we're also incorporating a chain link fence that will extend across. And this will actually get installed at the very beginning of construction. So it'll separate that walking trail from the construction zone. And that chain link fence will just stay up as a permanent element afterwards. And what that does also, and Emily had noted, that it also provides sort of a line in the sand, if you will, or a way for students to see, oh, okay, that's the end of the playground. Those are the boundaries, and so it's multifunctional, and we think it's a great idea to incorporate that. So those are two elements that we changed on the playground. And then if anyone has
I have a question with the fence. I guess I'm just concerned about like still feeling in the woods. Is the plan to be cleared up to the fence, or is the fence going to be like in the woods? How's that going to look?
So, we're redeveloping all of the land in this area because there's a significant increase in elevation. So all of the darker lines that you see here are new contour lines that we're having to develop in order to form this playground area. So as a result, this is all developed up to this point. From here back, our intention is to leave all of the trees as much as we can in this whole area here. So this fence will kind of run along probably a mix between the developed area and the existing trees. So it'll hopefully just kind of blend in to the middle there. We also wanted to keep a distance between that and the walking trail so that people that are on the walking trail don't have the sense that there's a fence right next to the trail. And so all of this area, after it's developed, we'll be putting in some landscaping elements, some trees and shrubs and so forth. So that'll blend in into the wooded area as well. And there's a big rock outcrop right here. So I can show you on I think it's in a later slide, some of the landscaping that we're planning here. So the intention is for it to kind of blend in over time.
Rob, this
Okay,
is
great.
Michelle. Is that area back there, the walking trail, is that just the paths in Little Woods?
Yeah, so this is a connector. This is the fire access connector. So that you can see right here, this is the existing. It is kind of hard to see, but this is the existing fire access trail as it connects over to Lowell Woods. Lowell Woods is further west. And so we're rerouting that at the beginning of construction to extend around the construction area and then reconnect to that trail.
Okay, that fence may serve another helpful purpose in that a lot of people in Lowell Woods have 4-footed friends that are not on leashes. And the playground being right there is just, that could get ugly real fast.
Yeah, and
So
that was
a
one
little
of the,
separation would help.
yep, was one of the reasons too why we wanted the fence just for dog purposes
Okay.
or other animals. Thanks, Michelle.
I think the fence is a great idea too, not just for dog purposes, but I think it's important too. I mean, anyone can walk those trails. And we just want to, I know you talk about the separation to show the kids where the playground ends, but I think it's also important to show people who are walking to know understand where, particularly during school hours, where the school property is, right?
Yep. And that 50-foot buffer, that's a significant buffer as well. That's one of the reasons we had sort of said we'd like that trail moved so that it's not right up against the playground, because that was another concern, right? Is that anybody, that's open to the public, everyone's walking along it. So I think between the fence and the 50-foot buffer.
Yeah. Oh, that's good, because it can be off-putting, maybe even to the students, if not distracting too.
Right.
So, I think that's great.
Rob, this is Chris. When you present to the land use group, please make sure you talk about this path, because I just want to make sure that they share any concerns that they may have regarding proximity to any property lines that the proposed path has. So I don't know if there needs to be any setbacks from those proposed property lines for that new path. But hopefully there is none. I certainly agree with the chain link fence. I think that makes perfect sense.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, we will.
Rob, one more is instead of calling it a walking path, can you refer to it as the fire access trail that people walk on, so that everybody knows that that's the one that the fire trucks? And I just want to make sure that when you do that angle, that it's okay for the big rigs to get back there. That might be a tight. If that's 50 feet, that's a tight turn.
Yeah, we'll be continuing to look at that. This curve may end up being a more gradual turn here. We'll continue
Awesome.
to look.
Thank you.
One other element on this is it's a little bit off the page, but we also discussed with Emily and the educators was we currently have 2 outdoor learning classrooms. We're going to consolidate them to one and shift this one down a little bit. So what that will do is allow for this grassy area to extend up even a little bit further down in this area. So so we think that that's a great move as well. So moving on to the eastern side of the site, up in the northeast corner. So one of the things that we did here is introduce this sidewalk curve here. So what this allows is for this direct connection from Gay Street over to this parking area, and then the trailhead, or the walking trail portion of this segment will begin here. The fire access trail that John was just mentioning starts here. That's where the trail widens. This is really just a footpath. It's intended to be just a dirt trail that allows for people to park here and then hop onto that footpath that connects to the fire access trail further on. But this curved sidewalk here seemed to make a lot more sense. And that was one of the suggestions that came up.
It also allows access to the Scout House. Oh, Rob, you're muted. You're faded out again or something.
So the other piece that we're trying to do here is save. There's 2 trees that we're trying to hold on to. one big tree here that's directly in front of the existing school. And so we are trying to hold on to those, and the sidewalk comes around here. We eliminated this section, this segment of the sidewalk here. And there was also a crosswalk, which we eliminated here. It wasn't really leading to anything on the other side. And so we've streamlined the sidewalk connection over here, and then made this connection to the sidewalk along this side. And then again, this area here is a clump of trees that we're going to try to hold on to, an existing grouping of trees. Then from the south, there's a sidewalk that comes up and along. So there's multiple ways to get to the school. From the north, students will come across there and across here, and from the south, come up along this side. In the center here, this will be a raised table with striping, so that the idea is that this will, alert vehicular traffic as they're approaching this turn here, that there is a crosswalk here as well as from this direction. But the intent is that this is the bus loop, and the buses will come around and exit out this way, and this will be the parent drop-off loop, where parents will come in this way and drop off and loop back around. And so that this connector really shouldn't be used very often. And so this is creating a safe passage here for students to continue to go up to the school. So this is the larger picture of the landscaping plan. This is these are the two outdoor classrooms I was referring to previously that we're going to consolidate into one. They were in close proximity to one another, and educators agreed it just made sense to have one that will locate basically in the middle, be in between these two. They can be shared by teachers in both wings. Taking a closer look at the Entry Plaza, some of the revisions that we've made here is we've got these sort of center islands that are will have landscaping elements on them to kind of soften up the entrance. We have some benches all along the walkway here. What our landscape architect was showing us some bollards here, but we're changing that to be these kind of square cubes, if you will, that might be in varying heights by 2 or 4 inches, and also staggered a little bit, so it enters a little bit more of a playfulness and more of a clustered grouping, so that it doesn't come across as being this straight line of elements there. It's more of a playful grouping of blocks that kids and visitors can sit on, while also providing barriers for vehicular access. And this will be all along, along here as well, and continue along the perimeter. And then that is in addition to the posts that are along this entry walkway here. Any other questions on any of the site elements?
Rob, I'm just conscious of time. We've got some action items to get to.
This is the last slide.
Okay, thanks.
Rob, this is Chris. If you can just go back, I think it's 2 slides, please.
This one?
One more? Oh, no, that's it. I'm sorry. From the drop-off area on as you enter off of Gay Street onto the property that runs that area that runs along the soccer field, is that a sidewalk?
There's no sidewalk
No,
on.
I'm sorry, the other side of the field, on the Gay Street side of the field.
Oh, yes.
Yes, that right there.
Yes, that is a sidewalk.
That's a sidewalk? Okay. So just as a reminder, if you can just coordinate with DPW to make sure that sidewalk's in the design and the format that they have for other sidewalks on Gay Street throughout the town.
Yes, thank you, Chris. We are doing that. We are also coordinating or looking at the Gay Street improvement project that they have planned. So we'll be looking at the details that they're using and planning for that, and coordinating our the design of our sidewalk to align with how that's detailed.
So Rob, just to be clear, that is a plan that is currently right now not being discussed to move forward. There is a committee that would like that project to move forward. So just to let you know, that is a plan that we have in place that's ready to go, should the town move in that direction.
Okay.
Understood. I think what Chris, what we will do is match on the public street side, we will match the DPW standard so that that there will be no issue in the future.
Okay, no, that's great. Just asking you just coordinate with DPW, because if there's any other work that they're doing in that area, we can just coordinate it so we don't have any issues.
Yes. Yep. We're doing that.
Hey, Rob, the outhouse on that frame, the outhouse pads, are you going to move them, or is that really where they need to be?
We're not. We've taken out that pad that was here, so we're going to leave that to further discussion at a later point in time.
Okay, cool.
Anything else on the site?
Nice job making all the changes.
All right. Thanks, Rob. Thank you, Compass. Thank you, Doran Whittier. I think we're definitely going in the right direction. I love how you guys are taking our feedback and incorporating it. And we appreciate that. So I think it looks good. Anyway, thank you. All right. So if there's nothing else, no more comments on the discussion items, I'm going to move on to the action items. So first, we need a vote to authorize the submission to the cost estimators. This is for the 100% design development cost estimation. And this is sort of based on the plans that we have seen to date. So can I get a motion to authorize the submission?
So moved.
Okay.
Okay. Any discussion? No. All right. I'll do a roll call. Ken?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Abby?
Yes.
Lemma?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Emily?
Yes.
Amanda?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Motion is carried. Okay.
Mayor,
Oh,
Michelle is here.
Oh, Michelle.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay.
I knew you were here. Okay. Second, we need a vote to approve the Sustainability Subcommittee meeting minutes of June 8th, 2021. First, I actually need the Sustainability Subcommittee to approve that. So can I get a motion from someone on the subcommittee?
So moved.
Second.
All right, roll call. Ken?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Lemma?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Motion is carried. Now I need a vote to accept them by the full school building committee. So can I get a motion for that?
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Okay, any discussion? Nope. Ken?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Abby?
Yes.
Lemma?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Emily?
Yes.
Amanda?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Motion is carried. All right, now the Building Systems Subcommittee meeting minutes of July 8th, 2021. I need a vote by the members of that subcommittee. So can I get a motion to approve those minutes by one of those members?
So moved.
Second,
All right, any discussion? Roll call, Ken,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
John,
yes.
Lemma,
Yes.
and Michelle.
Yes.
And I am a yes. Motion is carried. Now I need a vote by the full school building committee. Can I get a motion for that?
So move.
Second. All right, Ken,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Abby,
Yes.
Lemma,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Emily,
Yes.
Amanda.
Yes.
I'm a yes. Motion is carried. Okay, Site and Outdoor Design Subcommittee. We have meeting minutes from July 27th that we need to approve. So can I get a motion from one of the members of the Site and Outdoor Design Subcommittee?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Ken,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
and I am a yes. Motion is carried. Now we need a vote by the school building committee. So can I get a motion for that?
So moved.
Second,
Okay. Ken,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Josh. Oh no, Josh. Yes, sorry. Thinking.
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
John,
yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Abby,
Yes.
Lemma,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Emily,
Yes.
Amanda,
Yes.
and I am a yes. Motion is carried. Okay, we have meeting minutes of this committee from July 8th, 2021. So can I get a motion for that? To approve those?
So move.
Second,
Okay. Any discussion? Nope. All right, Ken,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Josh, I think you should abstain because you weren't at the meeting. That's okay.
Abstain.
Chris? Chris, did I hear yes?
Oh, yes.
Thanks. John,
yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Abby,
Yes.
Lemma,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Emily,
Yes.
Amanda.
I'll abstain. I wasn't at the meeting.
Okay, thank you. And I am a yes, so motion is carried. Okay, last action item, to approve payment of invoices totaling $300,971 for the period ending July 31st, 2021. These consist of one invoice from Compass for $20,000 and one invoice from Doran Whittier for $280,971. These are all in budget and have been coming out of the bridge funding. So can I get a motion to approve these payments?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, Ken,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Abby,
Yes.
Lemma,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Emily,
Yes.
Amanda,
Yes.
and I am a yes. Motion is carried. All right, is there any new business? Okay, we are moving to adjourn. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
All right. Final roll call. Ken,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Abby,
Yes.
Lemma,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Emily,
Yes.
Amanda.
Yes.
I am a yes. Motion is carried. We are adjourned. Whew, it's a lot of motions. Thank you, everybody. As always, I appreciate your time, and I think we're it's a good meeting. So anything that comes up in the meantime, let me know. Otherwise, our next meeting I think is in September at some point, September 10th, and we'll see you guys then.
Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right.
Have a
Thanks,
good one.
everybody.
Everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.